it was just, to me, it was too much.
Get into it?
It was too much. I was into the competition. It was too much to take, and to make it like Rory had some great round, and all he had is masterpiece. That was anything but a masterpiece.
So to me, I think the masterpiece that we're used to is, going low without any sort of implosions. Like, Tiger rips off 8 or 9 birdies, shoots a 65, 66, and it's Coastville, right? I think it was an unconventional masterpiece. The reason why I think it was a masterpiece, I'm not sure I would have used that description. Yeah. I know that Jim Nantz said that.
And we know why he did it.
Well, of course, with the career Grand Slam and everything that he's done. But generally, Sal, in golf, and we could go back to whether it was Winged Foot or countless other occasions with Phil Mickelson or Greg Norman back at Augusta back in the day, and several other times. Rory Spieth has had this happen to. Jordan Spieth. When it goes off the rails in golf, it usually stays off the rails in golf. And I don't think, if you're an average golf fan, I don't think that you enjoyed it yesterday as much as the golfer that's out there hacking away on the weekends and beating balls and following the game and following the stories. Because the volatility to Rory's round and his ability, quite frankly, to rebound from that and make sure that he won, it was a masterpiece. It's just not one that we're used to looking at.
Sorry, BT. Well, for me, it's got to be a masterpiece based on, he should have blown away the field. You go into the day yesterday where he was at, to double bogey on hole 1, no good. To, again, throughout the round, start to miss putts and choke it away a little bit. And then even right down to 18. So, for me, it was almost he won by default as opposed to beating Rose. And I'm not trying to take away from what Rose did, but obviously down the stretch, I mean, in that final playoff hole, now Rose was sitting on ice for a while, and it was having the warm-up rounds. I didn't get great This was not Rocco and Tiger back in 2008, whatever it was. I wasn't getting that to where you had the ultimate triumph. It was more, here's how I felt as a casual. I felt Jim Nantz was shoving Rory down my throat, begging him to win with the stories, the nauseating, elitist stories that you get with golf. And I wanted to enjoy it as a fan and root for somebody. I don't care. I wasn't rooting against Rory necessarily, but it was just over the top, forcing the issue, and he didn't even play great. So I'm supposed to sit there and say, wow, that was incredible. Yeah, it's a nice story. It's a nice finish to the story, but I would have preferred it had he actually played a great round from start. He was 1 over for the day.
There's 2 things that I can't relate to in golf. Number 1, coming out and going low. And number 2, coming from a family of endless affluence where I'm hitting balls on the most pristine courses from the time I'm 3 or 4. So I've never related to that. I will never be able to. I don't want to relate to that, really. That's not necessarily what I'm looking for. But the elitist description that you use, and I know what you mean, and it definitely applies to a lot of aspects of golf, but it doesn't apply to Rory. And that's why this is a good story. It's a heartwarming story. Remember, Rory was the guy. Now, you can say, well, Rory, you're a great golfer. You're an awful business person when everybody else is bouncing for a live and getting $150 million, $80 million, $60 million, $90 million, $110 million. Yeah, sure, come over, take the Saudi money, forget about the PGA Tour. Rory stood there, for shoulders, for strong and chin firm, and said, you know what? No, I believe in the pedigree of the golf record book. And money's great, but I got enough money for 5 or 6 generations. I'm not going anywhere. So for him to come out and double bogey, and we've seen this a million times, man, where a guy, even whether it's a big name or an average name, right, comes out on Sunday, stumbles early, and is either first or tied, first or second or third, right there prominently on the first page of the board. And because of the early stumble, you look up 2 hours later, they're not on the first page, they're midway through the second page because they don't have either the fortitude or the focus or the game or all 3 to will themselves back into the round. Sometimes I know that things are more sellable, if you will, especially to the average fan, which is kind of what we're talking about. When it's, Tiger going 17 under, or Mickelson being Mickelson, or Jack being Jack. But the beauty of golf is how it really just puts all of us at some point down to our knees, like, stop, mercy, uncle, I give up, you got me. And he had every reason to do that, not to mention the demons that, from a golfing perspective, float around this guy's head. The fact that Rory McIlroy was able to win, quite frankly, is amazing the way he started.
Well, because he's a notorious choke artist? I mean,
that's part of it, Sal. Think about that. Think about the first time that Aaron Judge, if or when Aaron Judge finally cracks through in October, right, and has a big has his Reggie moment, his A-Rod moment. Before you get to that point, think about what Aaron Judge has to mentally deal with, knowing he's already failed so much. I think you're minimizing the baggage that comes with overcoming failure on the most public stage.
I wouldn't say I'm minimizing it, but he did the same thing again yesterday, and in my mind, the only reason why he won is because others were worse, DeChambeau specifically, where he couldn't get off to a good start. Maybe things would have been different if it were him going toe-to-toe with Rory, as opposed to Rose, who I'm not minimizing Rose. I know he's been a tremendous golfer, but it just never felt like it was equal footing, which then you go back to, okay, well, what drew me in as a younger fan? It was behemoth versus behemoth, Tiger and Phil, the top guys in the game. This is not even Dustin Johnson at his peak. It was basically Rory's tournament. Well, especially when DeChambeau choked it away in the beginning, it was on Rory, and he tried to give it back. How could you not? I wouldn't even be saying this, BT, if he played clean on 18. If he hit that putt and won the Masters, that would be it. Even with the early round struggles behind him, even with the score being similar, I know it's one shot we're talking about here, but if he made that and didn't have to go to the playoff, it would have felt like a cleaner, more, I don't know, a win that could be celebrated more, especially using the terminology Rory has his masterpiece. The fact that down at the whole 18, you had a chance to hit that putt and win the Masters, and he blew it. That's a putt you got to make. You want to be Masters champion. And he didn't, and then they go into the playoff round and they won anyway. More so to me. Now, he played a good hole, of course, in that, but I think it was the competition that, because of the lack of quality competition, especially on the final round with DeChambeau doing what he did, that's what I think Rory won.
But I got to tell you, I think that we conveniently position, whether it's, and these guys all have the career major, a Saracen, a Hogan, a player, a Jack, not throwing names like Arnie, throwing all the great names of all time. We make it seem like these guys just coasted the final 3 holes and went birdie, birdie, birdie.
Right.
I guarantee if you went through even Tiger, not like the 2000 season.
And not everybody playing great round.
Guaranteed, guys. Did you win or did you not?
I mean, but
did you recover or did you not?
Understood. But to be one over on the final Sunday of the Masters, that's some great accomplishment. And now, so let's spin it forward, right? So now he has his Grand Slam. Am I supposed to look at Rory? And I like Rory, by the way. I know it doesn't sound like that right now, but easy to root for.
He's a likable guy.
Yeah,
it's hard to dislike Rory, really. It really
correct.
is.
Same thing, unless you're, what was her name? Caroline Wozniacki or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I like the fact about the live stuff. I like that Rory stood strong, to your point. I like the fact that, all right, here's a guy, and I used to love Greg Norman, a guy who choked it away too. So I like the underdog, a guy, you blew that, come on, get back to it. Yesterday, I couldn't help myself but root for Rose because I just felt badly for him.
You were rooting against Rory?
I wasn't rooting against. I was rooting. Here's what I was really rooting for.
Yeah.
The damn thing to end so I could walk my dog. I mean, I'm watching the Met game, and then I was fine with the 18. Just finish it after 18. Rory missed that putt. It cost me an extra 30 minutes here. Trying to take my dog out for a walk. But I wasn't rooting against Rory. I just felt, you're rooting for individuals here. And I felt bad for Rose, who had an opportunity to win the majors, win the Masters for the first time at an older age. And he just...
he would have been the oldest, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
He would have been at 42, would have been the oldest to ever win the Masters for the first time.
Yes, correct. So,
and as you know, he's a world-class player.
So I like that aspect of it, but I wouldn't say I was rooting against Rory. I just found it, and maybe it's just Nantz throwing it on thinking, maybe these golf fans, I'm curious to find out, 888-808-1019, maybe golf fans like that elitist, just forced, vomit-inducing build-ups. Oh, Rory's whole life was about this. But you were mentioning it before. Like, come on, dude. All these stories, like, enough. I just want to watch the competition, and I don't think Rory was great yesterday.
See, but the difference, I got you, and he wasn't great. Right. No, I'm just lauding him for recovering when he could have imploded and shot a +5 on the final round and maybe never been the same golfer moving forward ever again. If he would have collapsed again, my goodness, I don't think he recovers from that.
That would have been a big-time storyline.
Man, I think that would have been more about the implosion than the celebration or the coronation of the victor. It would have been the complete opposite here. But I'll tell you what, like, golf is about storytelling, and I get it. Some of it's corny. I'm sure much of it's embellished. Do I really believe?
Come on.
Do I really believe that Rory's dad said, "All right, son, not getting paid until Tuesday. Here's a little bag of balls. Hit everyone like it's the last shot. There's no way I believe that, but you can loosely extrapolate the poor nature that, the poorness, if you will, that Rory had growing up and the focus and the determination. And I can at least piece it together loosely enough where, all right, it's not like Rory grew up in a mansion and his dad owned a driving range. I'm sure that his dad was a blue-collar, fighting, scrapping, scraping, clawing, just to put together some sort of menial existence for his family. I think we all appreciate that for sure. But I think at the end of the day, I think because of when you started watching golf, and me too, by the way, when you started watching, you are forever penalized because it will never match Tiger, no matter what happens.
Excellent point. And I just saw the scroll. We have ESPN on here, and he's the first to have the Grand Slam since 2000.
Tiger time.
That's my wheelhouse. But you're going back 25 years, so it is a great accomplishment. Yet, for me at least a little bit, maybe it is just because I'm skewed because I grew up in the Tiger era. Maybe it is because I didn't think that it was a terrific performance from him yesterday. Maybe there's a little bit of that aspect from it as well. I just don't look at it as this great accomplishment. Again, maybe it's because I'm a fringe golf fan, but either way, Rory has his masterpiece. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Frank is in Central Jersey. What's up, Frank?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
What's happening, Frank?
Two things. I agree. Rory didn't play very well. DeChambeau took himself out of the tournament early, but the rest of the field was coming after him. And they kept posting the scores on the scoreboard. And Rory knew what was going on. So I don't think he played great, but it is the Masters, and he won, regardless of how you look at it. And number two, Nantz needs to shut up.
Tired of Jimmy? Tired of Jimmy, huh? He's amazing. I think Jim Nantz is great.
He was laying it on thick.
A little thick yesterday. I'll even say that.
I'm just not one for the corny, overly dramatic.
You just like the Simpson character there.
That's what I'm feeling like. Nantz is whatever. That's the thing for the golf. But I'm clearly not the audience he is targeting. I am the opposite of whatever elitist golf people are watching and getting all wet about the idea that, here we go, look at this drama. Now, I will say it was a beautiful watch. It's enjoyable to sit back and just watch the best in the world do what they do. So there's an element to that. On the point of where he was saying guys are chasing Rory down or coming for him, don't you think it's also easier playing when Rose was in the clubhouse with his score from Rory's perspective, as opposed to going neck and neck?
I think it's harder.
Interesting. Okay.
I think because think about that. If you and I are on the golf course,
right,
there is always the chance that I have a stumble and you get a birdie and you go past me. Whereas if I know you're in the clubhouse, I know that there's only so much I can stumble where I won't have enough room to recover because something's already been posted.
But at least you know. Yeah, for me, look, to me, it's a good conversation to have. Interesting thought. For me, I'd rather, I think, know what the other person has. It would make me feel more comfortable as opposed to you're going neck and neck and you're really battling and this is what Rose did on this or DeChambeau did on 16. I really better pick it up here. I think that could add a different element of pressure. But, pressure either way.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, one thing that I enjoyed about the Masters more so than usual, and again, you mentioned Greg Norman, there's been colossal meltdowns. I think he rinsed 3 balls, but at least 2 when he imploded all those years ago back to the Masters. But it's generally... Maybe not on Sunday because the pin tucked away. It's generally become a birdie fest. Guys hit the ball so far, and you play the same course every year. You know what's bad, what's good. And if your golf swing is in the proper spot before you start the tournament, these guys, based on their skill level, they can hit the ball to where they need to get without being penalized. You make a couple of putts, you go low, right? But and after a while, it becomes a little boring to me. Again, the Masters looks, no other tournament pops on TV like the Masters, but it's become fairly predictable to me, which is why I love the U.S. Open, because I love pain. I love these guys grinding through and looking for their balls in the weeds and then whacking out of the weeds and, a double bogey, losing control of the wheel where they simply, no matter how great they are, no matter how world-class they are, no matter what their resume says, they simply look like us. like we do. And I think that that's a great thing, very relatable. The Masters generally doesn't look like that, but when it did yesterday with Rory, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Mickey V is calling from Westchester. What's up, Mickey V?
Mikey. Yeah.
Oh, Mikey, I'm sorry, Mikey. That's my bad. What's up, Mikey V?
No problem. Do you golf, Sal?
A little bit, not really.
Not really. BT, you're a huge golfer, no?
I'm not very good, but I've played a ton. I love the game. Yeah, I love it.
Dude, yesterday was a great day for golf in general. I had all my boys. I had multiple chats going on. People that don't even talk about golf were saying, dude, are you guys watching this Masters? I know Rory didn't play the best, but, he did win. And Nantz did, he laid on thick, but that was the beauty of it. That was the beauty of it that, it was a great, outing. It was, the ending was great. Justin Rose missed, the last in the 18th to get the playoff. And I'm puzzled, like how you were like, oh, I didn't want it to end.
He bogeyed on 18. He bogeyed on 18. Yeah, I wanted it to be over with. I watched the drama, put it away at 18. I mean, it was getting late. I got to take my daughter up to sleep. I got to walk my dog here. I was watching the Mets, the Yankees. Is it too much to ask to not have to go into a playoff? The first one in 8 years?
Yeah, but sometimes we don't get this. Like, we were all looking forward towards this. Like, we knew, me and my boys knew that this was going to be a good day.
Yeah.
And it was going to be close. And they delivered.
Well, Mikey, think about this, Mike. Mikey, thanks for the call there, buddy. Not often, but more times than I think we would like as golf fans, the results are already in doubt. I mean, listen, if, again, you and I are playing and I've got a 7-stroke lead, I could very well come out and put up a 9 or 12 on the first hole if I count every shot. That's us. When those guys are up by multiple shots, as often is the case in majors on Sunday, it's anticlimactic. It becomes really about a 2-hour coronation as they walk the final 7, 8 holes and, par, take risk and chance out of the equation, which for them simplifies it to a level that none of us could relate to. I think the volatility, the mental anguish, Rory's personal story, Justin Rose's story, DeChambeau kind of still lurking but awful, going to live in a villain. It was, that's why I said unconventional. It was unconventionally amazing.
Right, but for me, the way that you painted it, we've watched both tournaments where we know who's going to win and the coronation. Now, the drama of this, maybe Rory chokes it away. That gets more people involved in seeing what could happen here. But also, if Rory had a big lead and you flip it on, if you're a casual like me, and you flip it on hole 50, whatever it is, hole you want to catch up, and you're watching, even if he's got the lead, you're still watching him go to work and work on finishing his masterpiece. I would be okay with that, knowing the big picture story is that he's going to try for his Grand Slam and finally win the Masters. So this was different in that it had both aspects of it, although I felt like the head-to-head, because of Rose already being in the clubhouse and because of who it was, all respect to Rose, it's not one of the big dogs right now going toe-to-toe
He's getting up there in age
with Rory. So because of that, it never felt like it was in jeopardy. It was still about Rory choking it away. And I would have appreciated, I think, more, not the drama, but the appreciation of the coronation if he just were dominating from, let's say, hole 14 or the day on, and you knew he was going to win that tournament and have his green jacket bestowed upon him.
So basically a little too side doorish for you. A little too side doorish.
I think, so I said before, I think he backed in because of DeChambeau choking it away and then Rose obviously not having a good playoff. Either way, it got me involved, and it's fun to talk a little golf here, off of the Masters. We'll get into baseball as well a little bit later on. Knicks as well. Draft, there's a lot going on this week. Busy time in the sports world. We're talking Masters, though. BT and Sal on the Fan.